For tonight's project, we are going to make this stationery holder, which holds 4 cards and envelopes. And let me just show you here before I open it. It has this beautiful tie on the side, and it uses Forever Greenery Designer Series paper. It also uses the Country Home stamp set, and I used some of our Stampin' blends. I used our stitched shaped framelits dies, the gold ring that is in the mini catalog, and let me open it for you now so you can see what is inside. It is so lovely. It holds 4 greeting cards and 4 envelopes. So it's a really nice hostess gift. I themed mine for Thanksgiving since that holiday is coming up, but you can use it for whatever you like. I actually made cards specifically to match this designer series paper, but if you have some cards lying around that use the same designer series paper that you can just gather up and make into a set, then you can create one of these very easily. It takes an 8.5 by 11 piece of cardstock, and we'll go through it step by step in tonight's video. It's a lovely, lovely hostess gift. You can make a bunch of them, keep them on hand, so you know, as things start to open up and we get invited to more and more places, you can bring one and give to your hostess, or you can just stick it in the mail. It's not heavy, so it won't require too much extra postage, but it makes a really great gift. So let's get started with tonight's tutorial on this little stationery holder. To get started, let's first make the actual stationery box, the little stationery, let's just call it a stationery pocket. Let's just make the holder first, okay? To start with this, you want to take a piece of 8.5 by 11 cardstock, and I cut it down with my paper trimmer to 8 inches by 10 inches. And then along this 10-inch side, let's just bring our little cutting blade to the bottom. We'll take our scoring blade and we will score this at 4 3/4 along the 10-inch side, 5, and then at 5 1/4. Then let's flip it over, and along the 8-inch side, let's score this at 6 inches. So there is all of our cutting and scoring. So now we can work on how to fold it. So let's bring up the bottom and crease that. And then let's fold it along our first score line and fold it along the last score line. And then we are going to fold it so that our middle score line is the tip of our mountain. So we're going to fold that one toward us like that. Okay, so this is what it's going to look like after it's folded. The middle will come up to us, and then the other sides will fold like that, so it will look like this from the side. Okay, now this is the kind of tricky part. So let's fold this up. You want to fold it up and then fold the inside in like that so that it continues along the bottom. Okay, it's hard to explain in words, so that's why I'm glad I have the video to show you how I folded the bottom part up. And that's all there is to making the pocket, the main part of it. Now what I want you to do is just take a little bit of multi-purpose adhesive, and then on the very edge here, just the very, very edge, put a teeny line. You don't have to do this, but it's just one more little security blanket that you're giving to the pocket so that when you put the cards in there, they don't fall out of the end. It's sort of optional, this part, but while we are making the rest of the pocket, cutting the ribbon, etc., we can let this dry. So there is the pocket. Now, don't you just want to make a bunch and a bunch because that was so darn easy? So now we're going to work on the ribbon. After you have made your pocket, you now want to cut about, this is about 26 inches of ribbon, and this is the white ribbon from the Flowers for Every Season ribbon combo pack. So after you cut your ribbon, you want to take some tear and tape adhesive, and we want to run this, let's, pretty much in the middle, and we want to run the tear and tape from one end of the little pocket, and this is important to make sure that you continue it in this part here. So make sure it dips down and then back up again into this little fold, and then continue it all the way to the other side and just tear it off. Then we'll carefully remove the backing from the tear and tape adhesive, and let's take our ribbon, and if you can see in the camera there, I'm going to take it and lay it down so that the middle of the ribbon, it goes off screen, but the middle of the ribbon is in the middle of the card. So I have equal amount of tail on either side of the pocket. And I am going to press it down and then make sure that I press it so that it goes into the fold there. So just use your finger and make sure you press it into the fold. Okay, and then come back up again and just continue it along the other side like that. So here is what it will look like once you adhere the ribbon. And it'll fold in there nicely like that, and then you'll have your even tails on the end. And now we can start decorating the front of the pocket. To start decorating the envelope, you want to cut a piece of designer series paper 5 3/4 by 4 1/2. And just pick one that you think best coordinates with your cards that you're going to put on the inside, and just go ahead and you can adhere that to the front. If you would like to, you can also cut a piece and adhere it to the back if you want to cover up this ribbon. But honestly, I am running really low on this pattern, so I didn't have enough to put on the back. I needed to have this piece to show you, to make the sample. But if I did have enough, I would put it on the back. So that way I would know that that ribbon would be covered up and stay nice and clean. The next thing you want to do is take a piece of, this is a 1/4 inch by 4 3/4 inches, and we want to put this over here so that it just covers up those little edges of the ribbon. So let me just trim that down to the 4 3/4 inches, and then I will take some of my multi-purpose glue, and this, the base that I use for the envelope, I am using Pretty Peacock as the coordinating color for my envelope. I love, love, love this color green. Okay, so I'm just putting down this piece here, which is 1/4 by 4 3/4. just to give it a little dimension and to cover those sides of the white ribbon. Okay, then I'm taking a piece of Old Olive cardstock, and this is cut 5 inches by 3.5 inches. And I will lay this flat with some multi-purpose adhesive on top of that little strip that I put down. And then we will start our stamping on a piece of thick Whisper White cardstock that measures 4 3/4 by 3 1/4. Now, because we're going to use our Stampin' Blend markers, which are alcohol based, we want to make sure that we stamp in our Memento ink on thick Whisper White cardstock. The thick Whisper White cardstock just absorbs the alcohol much better than our regular Whisper White cardstock. Now, before I stamp the image, I want you to look at this card here, and you will see that there are 2 separate stamps. There is this jug that's on the bottom, and then the other stamp is this set of flowers on the top. And you'll see that the jug and the flowers meet perfectly in the center there. The jug doesn't overlap the flowers when I stamp it, and the flower doesn't overlap onto the top of the jug when I stamp it. And the way I achieve that is by doing a technique called masking. And I'm going to show you right now how I achieved that. So what we want to do is take our Memento ink, and I'm going to take the jug out of the Country Home stamp set. This is a fabulous stamp set for Thanksgiving time because of the sentiment, simply thankful for all good things, happy harvest blessing. But there are also things on here are you are the happy to my day, and so grateful for someone like you in my life. That this, you can use this set all year long, but it is great for Thanksgiving too. That's why I really like this set. So I'm going to take the jug stamp out of here first, and what I'm going to do is ink this up with my black Memento ink, and I will stamp that right there. Okay, so now to explain to you what I was talking about not having the flowers overlap the jug, let me just show you. So if I were to ink up the flower image and try to line it up there, okay, if you have a pretty good eyesight, you can probably do it. But chances are that it's going to come down a little bit and stamp down here, or you're going to go up too high and you're going to have a space in between the top of the jug and the flowers. So that's where masking comes in. So what I did was, you just take a Post-it note, and I stamped the jug onto the Post-it note. And then what you want to do after you do that is you can cut out the entire image if you want to. It just all depends, but I only need this little top part to be my guide. So I'm just going to cut off that little top part there on the Post-it note. And I'm going to mask it or cover it up just like that. So now what I'm going to do is ink up my flowers, and it doesn't matter if I go over top of the jug because it will go onto the Post-it note. So you'll see there that like this little leaf there and that little leaf there got onto the Post-it note. So now when I remove it, the flowers themselves they look like they are exactly at the right spot coming right out of the jug. So that little technique is called masking. See, you learned something new. So now what I'm going to do is go ahead and I am going to color in with my Stampin' Blends. I will color in the jug and the flowers. And I have said before that I am not an artist. I usually, Stampin' Blends are meant to blend a lighter color into a darker color so that the image isn't all one color, and it gives it just a prettier look, a prettier dimension. But I don't know about coloring, I don't know how to do all that stuff, but I am going to show you what I did learn in case you are in the same boat that I am in. So I am using the dark crumb cake and the light crumb cake. And with the dark crumb cake, I am going to color in the entire part of the jug that are the accent pieces. So that would be the rim that I just colored, these little handles, and then this little center rim, and then on the bottom I'm going to use the dark Stampin' Blend, but only color it just part way, just like that. Now what I'm going to do is take, still with the dark color, and I'm using the thin, where is the camera? I'm using the thin point of the marker, the tip, not the brush side. And I am going to color in, I think I want to do it sideways, just like halfway maybe. I will trace it out and then just kind of haphazardly-ish, but with a plan, color in halfway with the dark crumb cake. And now I'm going to take a light crumb cake and I will color the other side, and I need a new crumb cake marker, so I'm going to flip this over and use the other side because this is on its last leg. I'm going to go in with the lighter color and I will trace the edge like I did, and then I am going to color in the white part, but you see that I'm going over and I'm blending it onto the dark. Of course I went out of the line right there, but let's just kind of make that look like it was supposed to happen. And I am blending it together so it looks like the light is hitting the jug from coming in from the side like that. So I'm just going to blend it in like that. So see, you don't have to be an artist. You can just give it a whirl like I did, and it looks pretty good. So to finish it off, I am using light soft suede to color in the, I don't know, are these cattails maybe? I don't know what these are called. So I'll use the light soft suede to color in these and to do these little tiny, the little tiny berries here. And then what I'm gonna do is use, I will use light old olive to color in the leaves because that'll really pick up the old olive that is on the designer series paper and on that base that we put onto our pocket that I am going to put this piece on top of. So I'm just going to color this in quickly with this is light old olive. I prefer, usually I go for the lighter color when it comes to the Stampin' Blend. I think even though it's called light, it usually does give a dark, you know, it comes out pretty dark even though it's light. So I'm going to color in the leaves with the light old olive, and then this little bloom right there, I am going to use my my dark soft sea foam for that. It looks kind of like an artichoke to me, but I'm just going to use my dark soft sea foam, and then I won't, I'll spare you my coloring in all these tiny little flowers or maybe we can just talk my way through it, but I am just going to use the same dark soft seafoam. Oh yeah, see there, we got through it. I'll do that little berry with the dark soft seafoam. So there we go. We just colored in the entire image. And I attached this also with some multi-purpose liquid glue. And just put this on there like that. And now we can move on to this really fun area of the pocket. The embellishment this is really fun and really makes this stand out. To make the embellishment, let me see if I can zoom in here. There we go. We can see it much better that way. I am using, this is the gold ring, the metallic ring from the mini catalog. And this is some of the gold ribbon from the Forever Greenery Trim combo pack. And I'll zoom out again. So to measure it, I just kind of eyeball it and make a couple of loops. I think I want it to be about that long, and then I just use my paper snips because it's not very thick, and I'll just lay it there like that. And then I'm also going to use some braided linen trim. This just makes it look so much more like fall, I think, and gives it kind of that like rustic farmhouse kind of feeling. And I just loop it around the same way to measure it and trim that too. Now you can use a piece of Scotch tape if you want to hold this down. You could use some tear and tape adhesive. I think I will use a little bit of tear and tape adhesive if I can find it, just to secure it. And we are going to cover this up. So let me just put some right about there is where I would like it to go. And you know what, we can just leave the top on because we are going to use dimensionals for the next part. Now, how are we going to secure that ring on there? What are we going to do? Well, it's sort of like when we made the googly eyes for all of our Halloween cards. I am just going to take a couple of glue dots and roll them up between my fingers, and then I will carefully place the glue dot on the rim of the gold ring so you can't see it, and then I will put my ring in place like that. And I'm going to need another one on the other side to hold it down. So I'll take another glue dot and place it on that side, and just hide it by rolling it up in your fingers, between your fingers, and I'll place it down there like that. So now we are going to put our little sentiment on there. I used the little thanks stamp, which is also in this Country Home stamp set. And I cut it out with the Stitched Shapes framelits dies. I used the 2 sizes of the oval. This is the smallest oval, and that's the next size oval. So I am going to just put some of my adhesive there. And then, oh, I actually think I put that on the wrong side. There is a right side and a wrong side to this. I don't know if you can tell, but I'm gonna go ahead and fix that now because it will drive me crazy. Okay, so now I have a little trick that I want to tell you. We're going to put dimensionals down, but you'll notice the ring is going to lift, it's going to automatically lift this side up. So you have a couple of options. You can either leave the dimensional off there and stick it in there, stick one there, but it's gonna look the best if you put one dimensional on top of the other, because then that will account for the height difference because of the ring, if that makes sense. That's a lot of words to use to just say put 2 dimensionals there, but I'm trying to explain to you the reason why I'm doing that. And then to finish off the card and just give it that last little bit of bling, I used some of the gilded gems, which are in the mini catalog. They are so cool because they have, they're not domes, they are faceted, maybe that's the word. So I chose the largest size and put it up there, and then the medium I just took off with my fingers and put over here, and then I put 2 little ones, one down here and then one right, I think on this one I'm going to put it right below the ring. And that is how you complete the envelope for tonight's project. Now, let's take a look at the cards that I made to go inside. I want you to know that I did not reinvent the wheel on this one. I just have 4. I have very vanilla envelopes because when I made these cards, I made them yesterday, and I have been making cards all day long, and my eyes, by the time I got to these cards, they were done. So I didn't even realize that I used very vanilla on my cards, but it kind of looks okay. Even though I used Whisper White, the very vanilla looks great. So I decided to use very vanilla envelopes. So I did not reinvent the wheel. I did the same exact thing that I did for the cover. That's what I used to make the cards. Let me get that out of the way so you can see better. But all I did was I just took a piece of Whisper White cardstock because I was running low on my Pretty Peacock, and I took just a small section of the Designer Series paper and put it here on the side. But this Old Olive and the Very Vanilla, the same exact measurements as this, colored in the same way, but I did not put the gold ring on the cards. You can do that, but I just wanted to make sure that the cards would fit inside. And I made 4 cards. I used the different sentiments that come in the Country Home stamp set. Thanks, hello, love, and enjoy. And then what you do is just open up your envelope and you put 2 cards on one side. And remember, earlier you put your adhesive over here, so you just want to carefully insert them and insert your envelopes behind. 2 cards and 2 envelopes on each side fit in there perfectly. Of course, because I'm doing this on camera, I'm having a little bit of trouble. There we go. And then 2 cards and 2 envelopes on the other side. And I just think this little mountain fold that we did here, it just makes it fold up so nicely. It's nice and neat, and we can go ahead and tie our bow with our ribbon. And if you want to, you can tuck those little ribbons inside that are part of the card, or you can let them hang out and just give the envelope a little more pizzazz. It's up to you, but there you have it. That's all there is to it. So this is another great Hostess gift idea. It's also great for teachers. You can put together a bunch of thank you notes, a bunch of birthday cards, sympathy cards, whatever you would like to do. Once again, how fun was that? So easy, and you don't have to reinvent the wheel. You can just make cards that are simple, like the ones that I made. Or, like I said earlier in the video, just gather up some cards that you already have that go together and create the little pocket stationery folder. I have all of the supplies listed below. Please subscribe to my channel. Click the little bell icon so you'll receive a notice whenever I post a video. In addition to being here on Tuesday nights at 8 p.m. Eastern, I may from time to time upload another video of a fun technique, so be sure you don't miss out on anything, and thanks again for watching.